1:32 a.m. Someone bought wipes, tape, and bleach. 3 months later, police rescued a woman from his basement. That night, I was only taking out the trash. There were no streetlights in the alley. Only the screen inside the unmanned store was still glowing. It was frozen on an abandoned order. Wipes, tape, bleach. Time, 1:32. I had worked nights on this street for 2 years. I had seen dads buying formula at dawn and drivers buying beer after midnight. But I had never seen a normal person buy bleach at 1:30 a.m. What exactly were you cleaning? I saved the receipt and named the album 132. But just as I was about to close the photo, a tiny line at the top of the receipt pulled me right back. The ID was S077. I went home after my shift and should have been asleep, but wipes, tape, and bleach kept circling in my head. It was the number of the unmanned store next door. The owner was Ray Thompson, an old friend of my father, David Carter. I rushed into his store without even brushing my hair. I can't just show surveillance footage to anyone. But when I asked for the footage,
That's private.
I told him,
Susan Parker, missing 3 months, Oak Street area.
Then I asked him.
At 1:30 in the morning, a man buys bleach. Does that really sound normal to you?
Ray went quiet.
You can only watch yesterday's footage, then we delete it.
Thanks, Ray.
Ray turned the monitor towards me. The unmanned store was empty, and the white light over the self-checkout felt almost surgical. At 1:29 a.m., a man in a gray hoodie walked in. The man in the gray hoodie appeared at 1:29, and the unmanned store was empty. And the white light over the self-checkout felt as cold as an operating room. His head was down, his hood pulled low. He didn't browse, he didn't hesitate. It was like he had rehearsed every step before walking straight to the shelf. Wipes, tape, bleach, scan, pay, bag, leave. The whole thing took less than 3 minutes. A normal person buying things after midnight checks prices, searches, hesitates.
Does he come here often?
He didn't. This wasn't a sudden need.
Let me check.
Every step looked calculated. His face changed because it wasn't just one order. For the past 12 weeks, every Wednesday late at night, around the same time, it was the same man.
12 weeks.
Every time, he bought the same 3 things: wipes, tape, and bleach. Sometimes, he added a frozen pizza. The more ordinary it looked, the colder my back felt. 12 weeks meant 3 months. Susan Parker had been missing for 3 months, too. I knew it still wasn't proof. But some things don't start as proof. I took photos of the footage and the sales records and saved them all into the 132 album.
Brianna, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. But I can't pretend I didn't see it.
What started as one photo had become a timeline. I started at the unmanned man store and followed the direction he left, counting every minute. If he walked home, the range couldn't be more than 10 minutes. At the 7th minute, I stopped in front of an old red brick apartment building, 1204 Oak Street. On the 3rd floor, one window was sealed shut by heavy fried curtains. I stood across the street, pretending to look at my phone. 5 minutes later, the curtain moved. Just for 1 second. Like someone inside had pulled it open with a finger.
You saw me too, didn't you?
That was the moment I knew someone was inside, and he was watching me. When I got home, I found the resident's name, Jack Whitman. Jack Whitman, 35, software engineer, had lived at 1214 for 5 years. His public profile was terrifyingly clean. Single, no spouse on record, and social posts about cats and tech news. I had worked nights long enough to see every kind of person. Real normal people always have a little mess in them. Someone this clean felt like he was hiding something. I kept enlarging the surveillance still, looking for something I could hand to the police. Then I noticed his shoes. Black sneakers with a small white mark on the side of the sole.
That little white mark belonged to a niche brand, sold in only 3 stores in the city.
You're a young woman. If something feels wrong, stay away from it.
I know. Then my mom called and told me not to get involved. But when I was a kid, I had already regretted staying out of something once.
When I was 10, my sister Emily Carter and I really did meet a suspicious man. On our way home from school, a gray car pulled up beside us.
Need a ride?
The man inside smiled and asked if we wanted a ride. Emily grabbed my hand and ran me home. But the adult said maybe he was just asking for directions. Later, that same man took a little girl from another neighborhood. Since then, I never trusted the phrase, maybe you're overthinking it. So this time, I called the police.
Please hold, I'll transfer you.
I told Detective Harris everything, the receipt, the footage, the 12-week pattern, and the direction toward Oak Street.
Buying cleaning supplies isn't a crime.
If I'm wrong, you lose a few minutes. I knew he wasn't wrong.
But if I said nothing, what if there really was someone behind that door? If I'm right, someone's life could be behind that door.
Send me the screenshots.
That afternoon, Detective Harris went to 1224 Oak Street. Detective Harris went to 1244. The result was simple. He knocked. And nobody answered. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt worse. Before dark, he called me. He had spoken to the neighbors. Everyone said Jack seemed normal. No talking, no social life, no visitors.
The neighbors all say Jack is quiet.
Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual.
5 years of being quiet.
We can't just break down the door, not without probable cause.
If Jack is fine, why didn't he open the door? It sounded safe, right? But the safer it sounded, the worse I felt. Detective Harris said he had no reason to ask for a warrant.
Maybe he just doesn't want to talk to the police. That's not illegal.
Don't go near this yourself.
I understood the law, but I also understood this. A man who buys bleach every Wednesday at 1:30 a.m. is not normal.
Okay.
Detective Harris told me not to touch this myself. I said okay. But the next day was Wednesday. At 1:15 on Wednesday morning, I stood across from the unmanned store and waited for him. I had switched shifts early, one hand wrapped around Vern's pepper spill in my pocket, pretending I was just waiting for a ride. At 1:29, the gray hoodie appeared at the corner. Same posture as before, head down, shoulders forward, footsteps quick and light. He went in, grabbed the items, scanned, paid, and came back out. Less than 3 minutes. I knew I shouldn't go near him, but if I backed away tonight, I would remember that version of myself forever. So I stepped in front of him and played the neighbor.
Do you live at 124 Oak Street?
For the first time, I saw his face. Ordinary, gentle.
Who are you?
Have you seen anyone suspicious around here at night?
I go to bed early.
Like a programmer who wouldn't hurt anyone.
Go to bed early.
He said he went to bed early, but I had just watched him buy bleach at 1:30 in the morning. Thanks. Stay safe.
I didn't call him out. I just smiled, said thanks, and watched him walk into 1214. Back at the store, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. AJ saw how pale I was and froze. I told him I had just met the man. I saw him, face to face.
Are you insane? What if he really is a killer?
AJ almost spilled his coffee. He said killers don't wear signs on their faces. I knew that. The terrifying part was that his face showed nothing at all.
He said he goes to bed early.
I called Detective Harris and told him Jack Witzman had lied.
You went near him after I told you not to?
First, he snapped at me for being reckless. He lied. He said he goes to bed early. Then he went quiet for a long time.
I'll put someone near 12-4.
Finally, he agreed to put plainclothes near 1214. The plainclothes officers were there, but not 24/7. I understood that. I just couldn't wait. After work, I printed a stack of Susan Parker's missing posters and went door to door. It was an excuse. My real target was the 3rd floor of 12 Forn. Mrs. told me Jack barely came out during the day.
But stays in all day,
comes out at night.
Thank you, Mrs. Bennett.
but she often heard his door open at night.
I filed that away and looked toward the stairs. The third-floor hallway was silent. I knocked. No one answered. I slid a flyer under to the door, pretended to tie my shoe, and pressed my ear to the wood. Behind the door, there was a low hum, like a washing machine. Susan? Under it, something softer, almost like crying. I whispered one name. The next second, the sound stopped. The sound behind the door suddenly stopped. In that second, I knew whoever was behind it might have heard me too. I didn't wait. I grabbed the flyer and rushed downstairs. Back in the stockroom, AJ made me coffee.
Brianna, drink something.
I didn't take a single sip. If someone was really behind that door, what was I supposed to do? Call again? Without a warrant, the police couldn't get in. I needed a second witness. I opened the comments under the Susan Parker Miss Missing story and found an account called CatMom47, Maggie Palmer. Her daughter lived near Oak Street too, and she was scared every day. The next day, she replied. She had heard it too. Every Wednesday night, the machines kept running on the third floor. She was afraid to call the police because she's afraid she was imagining it. This time, Detective Harris finally said,
I'll try for a warrant.
Detective Harris said he would try for a warrant. But a warrant doesn't appear just as 'cause you're scared. All day, I stared at my phone until my stomach hurt. The next day, Detective Harris finally called.
Approved.
The warrant was approved. Friday at 8, 5 officers went to 1244 Oak Street. I sat in the car across the road. He wouldn't let me get out.
Stay in the car, Brianna.
The officers knocked. No answer. They knocked again. Still nothing. The moment the ram went up, I almost forgot how to breathe. The door opened, and they rushed in. I couldn't see inside. I only heard shouting upstairs. Then the radio said,
Female victim found on the third floor.
The radio said, female victim found on the third floor. We need an ambulance. I only asked one thing. Is she alive?
Alive. She's still alive. Block the alley!
After the police rushed into 1244, all I could do was stand across the street and listen to the radio calling for an ambulance.
Female victim found on the third floor. We need an ambulance.
Is she alive?
Alive. Still alive.
Alive. Those words almost made my legs give up. That woman was Susan Parker. She had been held there for 3 whole months. The basement was barely 10 square meters, with no windows, concrete walls, and one bulb hanging from the ceiling. When the police opened the door, light poured in. Am I dreaming?
You can't go in.
She's really alive?
Back door! Someone's running!
But while the police were rescuing Susan Parker, Jack Whitman ran out the back door.
The second I heard it, the relief I had just felt was ripped away. Jack Whitman ran out the back door. The police chased him for 2 blocks and found him in the bushes.
Don't move! Show me your hands.
He was curled like an animal trapped in a corner. After Susan Parker was taken to the hospital, I called the nurses every day to ask how she was doing. 3 days later, Linda Parker called me. She was crying when she thanked me. I only made a call.
Thank you. That phone call saved my daughter.
After I hung up, I sat behind the counter and stared at the empty store.
You're the coolest person I've ever met.
AJ was wiping down the coffee machine.
I didn't catch him. The police did.
When he said I was the coolest
But you
person
saw the clue.
he had ever met.
A week later, Detective Harris called. He said Jack Winsman had already been looking for his next target.
Brianna, we found photos of other women on his computer.
On his computer, they found photos of other women. Other women?
Detective Harris said Jack Whitman's computer didn't only have Susan Parker on it. There were other women, too.
Brianna, you didn't just save Susan.
Every photo had been taken without them knowing.
Outside a convenience store, a bank, a bus stop, an old apartment building. None of those women knew they were being photographed. They were just leaving work, buying groceries, waiting for a bus, going home. Detective Harris said Jack Whitman had already been looking for his next target. I stared at those photos, and my throat felt blocked. Maybe Susan Parker wasn't the only person I had saved. Then I saw one photo, and my hand froze. The background was the entrance to my own store.
He was watching me too?
In my dream, I was behind the basement door, pounding on it, but no one could hear me. When I woke up, it was already morning. That stalker photo was still burned into my head. I wasn't outside the story. I had almost been one of the women in those photos. When Susan was discharged, Linda Parker insisted on taking me to dinner, so I went. Susan showed me a photo, the receipt, wipes, tape, bleach. She said Detective Harris told her it was evidence. In that moment, that tiny piece of paper felt heavier than a knife.
You can't sleep either, can you?
I thought Susan was the only one still trapped.
How did you know?
But she looked at me and said I was trapped too.
Because you're trapped too.
Just when I thought this might finally fade, the city called. They wanted to give me a Community Courage Award. The city wanted to give me a Community Courage Award. My first reaction wasn't happiness. It was fear. They wanted a pretty story. But the real story wasn't pretty at all. They wanted to say a night shift clerk saved a missing woman by paying attention. But the real story was a woman locked away for 3 months. For 12 weeks, people walked past, and no one knew she was inside. At the ceremony, City Hall was bright, too bright. I stood on that stage with sweat in my palms. Reporters, police, citizens. Susan and Linda Parker were all watching me. When it was my turn, I only said one thing. I'm not a hero. I just didn't ignore that receipt. After the ceremony, a stranger slipped me a note outside the restroom. The note had one sentence: "My neighbor's house makes strange noises every night, but no one believes me." I stood outside the restroom, staring at it, and felt my back go cold. After the news story aired, more and more people started calling the store. Someone said a neighbor vanished. Someone heard knocking inside a wall. Someone said she was being followed, but police, there wasn't enough evidence.
Brianna, you can't answer every call.
If no one answers, who else do they have?
I wasn't a cop. I couldn't judge every story, but every voice on those calls carried the same thing: fear and a little bit of hope. That night, I opened an anonymous inbox. I named it Nightingale.
The first night the Nightingale inbox went live, I got an email from Nora Reed. Before my mother, Monica Reed, disappeared, someone had been buying bleach every week too. Nora Reed said her mother, Monica Reed, disappeared 3 years ago. Police called it voluntary. Nora never believed that, because before Monica disappeared, someone nearby had been buying bleach late at night every week. She also wrote trash bags and disposal gloves. The moment I saw those words, my palms started sweating. I told her not to go near him, not to follow him, just send me times, locations, and old photos. She sent the first 2 photos quickly. The third one never finished uploading, then the email went silent. I waited 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Nothing. I called Detective Harris and forwarded him everything. She was sending photos, and now she's gone quiet.
Don't panic. Send me the address.
At 3 a.m, Nora Reed finally wrote back, "Someone is downstairs." At 3 a.m, Nora Reed finally wrote back, "Someone is downstairs." I answered immediately, "Turn off the lights, stay, ache away from the window, don't take pictures, don't go downstairs, and call the police." She said she was scared the police would think she was crazy. I understood that too well.
Send me the address. I'll contact local police.
For everyone who called Nightingale, the worst fear wasn't danger. It was not being believed. Half an hour later, police confirmed Nora Reed was safe. The person downstairs was gone. Then she sent me a recording, something she had captured before Monica Reed disappeared. I put on the headphones, and my back went cold. That wasn't normal noise. It sounded like someone knocking from inside a wall. When Susan heard it, her face went pale.
This isn't noise. It's a distress rhythm.
After Susan Parker heard the recording, her face went pale. She said it wasn't noise. It was a distress rhythm.
This isn't noise. It's a distress rhythm.
She understood that kind of sound better than I ever could.
When shouting doesn't work, you knock on anything that can carry sound.
They knock.
On pipes, on walls, on anything that might carry sound.
Susan said it quietly, like she was speaking from memory.
They reopened the old house where Monica Reed had lived, forwarded the recording to local police.
They found something in the basement crawl space.
They reopened the old house where Monica Reed had lived. They didn't find her, but in a basement crawl space, they found old rope, old blood, and a woman's hair clip left behind 3 years ago. That day, I understood Nightingale wasn't a game. Behind every email, there could be a real person, real fear, and real danger. So I wrote the first rule: don't follow, don't knock alone, and don't put yourself in danger
Just to prove you were right.
Burn out like this.
Then help me sort the emails.
Where do we start?
Nightingale Hotline didn't start in an office. It started in the stockroom of the convenience store, next to bottled water, paper cups, and expired promo signs. I took the calls, AJ built the spreadsheet, and Susan helped us sort them remotely.
Maybe I am too sensitive.
Susan said she wanted to do something, not to repay me, but so she wouldn't be afraid anymore.
Don't ask why she didn't speak sooner. Speaking now is already brave.
I understand. She understood those voices better than I did. When someone said, maybe I'm too sensitive, Susan would answer.
I once hoped I was only too sensitive too.
We divided tips into 3 groups: misunderstanding, pending, and urgent. Every urgent lead went only to the police.
Should this sheet be public?
No. Nightingale isn't a judge. Only urgent leads go to the police.
We didn't expose people, judge people, or send the internet after anyone. Nightingale wasn't a judge. It only carried the voices out. That month, we helped the police handle 4 stalking cases. But soon the calls came so fast, they overwhelmed the store's landline. Even real customers couldn't get through. Night, the store phone blew up. Even Ray Thompson heard about it. Call after call came in. I didn't even have time to drink water. Nightingale no longer felt like an inbox.
Your phone line is busier than my whole store.
We need another system.
It felt like a door everyone had started pounding on.
Take the urgent ones first. The Nightingale inbox started spreading online. Some people supported it. Others called me a busybody. Some said I was making neighbors suspicious.
Go to bed early.
Others said someone was finally willing to listen. Not every suspicion was true, but every fear was real. What we could do wasn't solve crimes for the police. Nightingale can't guarantee every lead is right,
But we can guarantee everyone gets seen.
it was give scared people one more choice before they went silent. Late that night, I had just ended another call when the store door chimed. Detective Harris walked in with a folder in his hand.
The city wants to work with Nightingale.
He said the city wanted to work with Nightingale. What does that mean?
It means conditions.
Detective Harris said the city wanted to work with Nightingale, but he didn't say it like good news. He sat in the corner of the store with his usual black coffee, pushed a file towards me.
The city wants to support Nightingale, but there are conditions.
What kind of conditions?
He said the city could offer Nightingale a small office, a dedicated phone line, and basic funding. The condition was that Nightingale had to register as a nonprofit and accept oversight. At first, I hesitated. Once it became official, it wouldn't just me and a few people trying to help. It would have procedures, responsibility, and more criticism. You can't answer rescue calls in a stockroom forever. But Susan said yes.
And you can't keep staying awake on coffee.
AJ said yes too. It wouldn't just be me anymore.
Are you ready for it to get bigger?
Detective asked if I was ready for Nightingale to grow. I'm more afraid it won't be big enough. I looked at AJ and realized as it was no longer just mine. I said I was more afraid it wouldn't be big enough. The new office wasn't big. 1 desk, a few chairs, 1 whiteboard, but it finally had a name on the door. Nightingale was no longer just an inbox. Susan Parker hung a city map on the wall. Red meant urgent, yellow meant unconfirmed, blue meant sent to police. Red is urgent, yellow is pending, blue is referred. I looked at those pins and felt the weight for the first time. They weren't numbers. They were people. The first girl who came to interview was Casey Brooks, 20 years old, college dropout. My sister was followed for months. If nobody had called, I don't know what would happen.
You don't have to tell me more than you want to.
I want to be the person who answers the phone. She wasn't looking for a job. She was looking for a place where fear could become action. You're hired. I didn't ask too much. I could hear it. She wasn't looking for a job. She was looking for a place where fear become action. I said, "You're hired." On Casey's first day, she answered a call with no words, only crying.
Casey's first day, she answered a call where no one spoke. After a few seconds, her face went pale, and she looked up at me. There were no words on the line, only someone trying not to cry.
Brianna, she's not talking.
Don't hang up. Stay with her.
Are you safe?
I told Casey not to hang up. I told her to ask if the caller was safe. After a long silence, a breath of a voice finally came through.
He's outside my door.
Lock the door. Move away from the window. Send your location. Call 911.
When police arrived, they found Sarah Collins' ex-boyfriend. He had violated the restraining order 3 times, and every time he said he only wanted to talk.
It's always like this the first time.
After Casey hung up, her hands wouldn't stop shaking.
What if I said the wrong thing?
That night, Detective Harris came with another message.
Jack Whitman's trial started today.
Jack Winson has been sentenced to 45 years without parole.
Jack Whitman confessed to all charges. 45 years. No parole. When I heard the sentence, I didn't feel the relief I thought I would, because 45 years couldn't give Susan back those 3 months.
45 years couldn't give Susan back those 3 months. It couldn't give Linda Parker back all those sleeps nights. Susan didn't go to court. She said she didn't want to see his face again.
That night, Susan Parker came to the office. We sat on the old couch.
I still dream about the basement. But now, there's light under the door.
She said she still dreamed about the basement.
That light wasn't from me. You survived long enough to see the door open.
But now, the dream wasn't only darkness. That same night, Nightingale received an anonymous email from out of state. It had 3 words too: cleaning supplies, basement, missing sister.
That night, the Nightingale inbox got an email out of state. Rachel Adams said her sister, Megan Adams, had mentioned a man buying cleaning supplies late at night before she disappeared. Rachel attached 3 photos. The first was the convenience store where Megan worked. The second was a blurry surveillance still. The third was an empty bleach bottle in a trash can. My chest tightened again.
Do we even have jurisdiction out of state?
Casey asked if we could even do anything out of state. I said at least we could make the police there look again. We organized everything. Sent it to local police and Detective Harris.
If they don't listen, then we send it again.
3 days later, they finally wrote back. The email was only a few lines, but I read it for a long time. Local police had found Megan Adams alive in the basement of an abandoned house. Megan Adams was alive. It wasn't Susan's case. It wasn't Jack Winson. It wasn't the same offender. But Megan really had been locked in a basement. I walked to the map and placed the first out-of-state pin. That was when I understood what Nightingale really meant. It wasn't about solving one case. It was about giving the sentence, "Something feels wrong somewhere to land." The rescue hit the news fast. Then calls started coming in from across the country. Someone cried in a car. Someone whispered from a kitchen. Someone said only one sentence. I feel something is wrong too.
You saved a second person.
No. Rachel Adams didn't give up on Megan.
The more calls came in, the more false leads, pranks, and fake reports came with them. After Nightingale went viral, we were buried in false leads. Some people filed fake reports. Some called a neighbor's argument a kidnapping. Some sent prank emails with details that sounded almost real. Casey cried the first time a false lead fooled her. She thought she had missed real danger. Then we learned it was a prank. She asked me, "What if we get it wrong?" Then we slow down. We check again. I didn't answer right away because I was scared too. Scared of wasting police time, hurting innocent people.
We can't become another kind of danger.
And even more scared that fear of being wrong would make us miss someone truly asking for help. The Nightingale is not a judge. It only serves to carry the sound. City Hall invited me to give a public talk. I wanted to say no.
I don't want to stand on a stage again.
Then Susan Parr said,
"Some people need to hear you say you're scared."
I went to that public talk. There were hundreds of people in the audience.
"Some people need to hear you say you were scared."
And my palms were soaked. I'm not a hero. I started Night Gilby because I was a coward. When I was 10, Emily Carter and I saw a suspicious man. We didn't call the police. Later, another girl was taken. I still don't know her name. Nightingale wasn't built for brave people. It was built for people like me, people who saw something wrong and were too scared to say it. Nightingale isn't for heroes. It's for people who saw something wrong and were too scared to say it. Being scared isn't wrong. Silence is what lets bad people win. After the talk, I went back to the office. A.J. Miller was waiting by the door, looking nervous.
Brianna, I need to tell you something.
After the public talk, all I wanted was to hide in the office for a minute. But A.J. was standing by the door, red as tomato.
Brianna, I need to tell you something.
He said he had something to tell me.
I liked you from the first day you walked into the store.
He said he liked me. He'd liked me since my first day at the convenience store. I froze, not because I didn't know.
"Hey, Jay."
But because I had never left room for that part of my life.
My life was packed with night shifts, hotline calls, emails, and people asking for help.
"I don't have time for this."
I'm not asking you to stop. I'm not asking you to be someone else.
Jay said I didn't have to make time.
I just don't want to watch you do all of this alone till 3 a.m.
He'd just be there. I didn't know how to answer.
"AJ, I need to think."
All I could say was, give me a little time.
Take your time.
That night,
A lifetime is fine.
I smiled behind the register. Then the next hotline call pulled me back to reality.
When that hotline rang, AJ was standing right beside me. He didn't leave.
I think I might be overthinking it.
On the other end was a girl, speaking so softly.
She said she might just be overthinking. I was about to speak when AJ slid a note in front of me. It said, ask if she's safe right now. And suddenly I realized, without my noticing,
"Are you somewhere safe right now?"
they had already stepped in behind me. After the call ended, AJ placed a photo of me in the break room. It was from my first day at the convenience store.
I'm not asking you to give up the hotline.
"Then what do you want?"
Let me take the next call with you.
Apron on, peace sign up, smiling like nothing could ever touch me. Then I understood. Nightingale was not something I had been carrying alone. It never was. I had just sat down when a strange number flashed on the hotline screen. The note said only one word, unknown.
The unknown number rang 3 times. I picked up. A girl on the other end was crying.
I think I might be overthinking.
That sentence pulled me right back to that old early morning. I looked at the screen, remembered that early morning years ago. 1:32 a.m. Wipes, tape, bleach. One abandoned receipt pushed me onto this road. 3 years later, Nightingale had branches in 12 cities and more than 100 volunteers. I left the convenience store and ran the hotline full-time. Susan Parker became executive director. Casey Brooks handled outreach, and A.J. Miller ran operations.
I think I might be overthinking.
It's okay. Start from the beginning. Are you safe right now?
But every time the phone rings, I still go back to that morning, because so many stories begin with one small sentence. I don't know if I'm overthinking. I held the receiver tighter and slowed my voice.